Hi, welcome back to Loving's Guitar, where I like to talk about guitars and how they make me feel. Today, that's the groove for the day. If we got a chance to record that, that would be the groove for the day. Today, sounds are coming from the... it's grimy. I'm grimy. I make the guitar grimy. All right, so this is the Harley Benton SC-550ii. I've had this for, I don't know, 2 years now, I think. Outstanding guitar. I just feel like it's kind of ridiculous that I feel this way about this guitar. And a lot of the Harley Bentons that I've come across. I wasn't seeking to be like a fanboy of Harley Benton. You know what? I'm going to be honest with you. Yeah, so I've got quite a lot of Harley Bentons. Yeah, I think 25, 26. I don't know. I lost count. Oh, maybe 25, I think. Or 26. I don't know. But anyway, the point is this. They've all been... they all exceeded my expectations. But that I wouldn't say, to be honest with you, not all of them were like super keepers. That doesn't mean that they were bad. It was just like, I think for someone else, they would be better. Someone who would appreciate it more than me. So when I come to think about it, about this manufacturer, Harley Benton, because, you know, in my experiences of, you know, living in all these eras and decades now of playing guitar, over 5 decades of playing guitar, you see how people value things, right? Okay. You know, because, you know, a Gibson Les Paul 40 years ago, you could afford it. It's the price of a Les Paul Studio today, you know, or less. You know. But here's the thing. You know, it could be whether it was Fender or Gretsch, Guild, or Gibson. Actually, not so much the Guilds and the Gretsches, but the Fenders and the Gibsons. There was way more inconsistencies, I should say, than one would... I think there's a mystique, a lure, a myth that it was so much better back then. Sure, I'll tell you this much. The ones who got the lucky pieces of chunks of wood and luckily wrapped numbered amount of wines around their pickups, because they really weren't counting then, you know? I mean, it was like, it was a free-for-all. They didn't know what they were doing. And I mean, some guitar players, guitarists, receive like just like a super trophy of a guitar, while like somebody else, you know, not far away from the same store receives something. And the same thing, the same model, Gibson or Fender, and it's completely different. Like, it just doesn't meet their expectation. You know, so it is what it is, you know. You don't always get what you wanted. And then the thing is that you don't know what you want. For most people, you know, I think we get attached to that first guitar, and then it's like our first girlfriend, our first love, and then we compare everything to that, good or bad, you know. Not so with me. I think I've branched off a few times, you know. I've gone back and forth, you know. But actually, I was always, for the most of my career, I was a single cut, if not then a double cut. But I wasn't a Fender-esque type of player. Now I am, you know. So we change. And so one of the things that I found that I benefited from by, just being part of this current era, and this current era also included the COVID experience that we had a few years ago when everybody was locked in. I was locked in with everyone else. My business was tanking because there's no business. So but I still had to relieve myself for like my anguish. So I started buying guitars from Tolman, these Harley Bentons, and I was just being blown away each time. Each time I received a shipment, I was blown away. Literally each time. Okay, so there were collectively over the years, like as I mentioned before, I got over 20 Harley Bentons, and there's a few of them that I'm willing to sell. I have no qualm selling. There's a few that I don't want to ever sell. This is a funny piece for me. This particular Harley Benton is a Harley Benton SC-550ii FTF, and it has the Tesla pickups. Outstanding. I can't praise this guitar enough. And truth be told, I've played a lot of Les Pauls, and it would be hard for me to admit that this thing doesn't knock it out of the park, and it doesn't weigh a ton. It feels fantastic in a hand, and I'm not really a thin neck type of person, because this is a 60s neck here, and it has a volute over here, but you're never gonna feel it. You don't get it. Yes. And it's, it doesn't really have so much ergonomics involved. There's a little bit of a cut over here, but it's not. It gives it a nice palm in here. It's not. I don't think a super shredder type of guitar, but it's a very comfortable blues guitar, jazz guitar, fusion guitar. I don't know. You can probably do everything you want with this guitar too. I'm not really a shredder. I'm not a shredder at all, in fact. But these Tesla pickups, I really think they're paired very well with this model. And the model pickup too, because Tesla apparently makes a lot of pickups. The tuning pegs absolutely hold. They look vintage copy of something, but they're really. Trust me, I feel they're tight and good. I don't feel like they're loose. I don't feel like there's extra play. You're familiar with these tunematic bridges, this kind of stuff. I like the hats like that. I love these. And look at the figure on this. It's just insane, right? And all this for less than a tenth of the price of what, if this was a Gibson, right? If this was a Gibson Les Paul. But this is not a Gibson Les Paul. It's a Harley Benton SC-550, and if you can 552, and if you can wrap your head around it not having a fancy name on it, and just listen to your hand, if you could talk to your hand, how does your hand feel about being on this thing? What would the hand say to you? What would it report to you? Does it have sharp frets? Because I'll tell you this much, it does not have sharp frets. Was this guitar set up? Pretty much so, like 99%, it's sure. You know what? Here's another thing, folks. Get used to tending to your guitars. They're all going to need tending. If it's out of your hand to tend to them, then, you drop it off at the Luther, and for an adjustment. But get your guitars adjusted. If you don't know how to do it yourself, then get it done. I would suggest you learn. There's a lot of resources on YouTube and great channels where you can learn how to do this. And if you have a lot of guitars, say like 3 or 4, or at least 3 or more guitars, you know what? It's worth it for you to learn how to adjust your guitars. Sure, you may not be the best. You're not going to break your guitar. So you got to get closer to your guitar, if anything else. So, but then you'll understand its nuances and where it wants to migrate towards. You know, on temperature changes and temperature shifts. You know. That being said, back in my day, we didn't have guitars like this. You know, you know, you had Gibsons. You know, and then if there was a copy of a Gibson or nowadays, or even great copies of Fender Strats, they weren't that good. I mean, except for like maybe the Tokais and stuff like that. You know. I love this guitar. So it's like, for me, it's like a keeper. And here's the funny thing about this. I think most of the guitars in my top 5 of Harley Benton, 3 of them were B-Stocks. Can you believe that? Including this one. I got this as a B-Stock. Blows me away. Absolutely devastates me. This thing is, what a great guitar. It does have one visual flaw on it, but nobody's going to really know unless I point it out. But I could have sent it back. I'm sure had I brought it up with Toman, they would have immediately exchanged it. But I don't need to. I mean, the thing is that she feels good in my hand. She sounds great. She makes me want to pick her up sometimes. Outstanding girl. I guess now maybe I should point out to you where the flaw is. But there is a flaw, and it's actually right in front of you. It's right in front of you. The flaw. It's a major flaw, too. But unless I point it out, I wonder if anyone can figure that out. Can anyone see the flaw? Now, mind you, I absolutely adore this guitar. Okay, so to me, this guitar is flawless. It's, you know, it's like a child. You know, she's beautiful. She's perfect the way she is. But there is a flaw, and it's right in your face too. It's crazy too. But if anyone could tell me where the flaw is, yeah, there's got to be a surprise. There's got to be a bonus for you, anyone who figures that out. But if you can see the flaw in this guitar, can anyone see the flaw? But there is a flaw. But I don't know if that was the reason why it was a B-Stock. I don't know, you know, because it's interesting. Some of these other B-Stocks that I have received from Toman, Harley Bentons, I should say, wound up being like the best guitars I've ever played. And this is one of them. I swear to God, this is one of the best guitars. And it's funny because, you know, I have Gibsons. But this is this. For the price, and then just for the feel, and for the sound, and for how it makes you feel, and inspires you, you know, it gives you confidence. I mean, that alone is worth something, right? You should, don't you think? So, anyway, that's all I wanted to say today. We were just talking a little bit, reminiscing a little bit about the SC-550ii. All right. Hey, thanks for watching. If you like these kind of shenanigans, well, it'd be really nice or cool, really awesome if you hit that like button. If you have a SC-550ii, let me know what you think about them. You know, let me know, and let me know where you're hearing me from. You know, like what neck of the woods is this channel reaching? All right, folks. Hey. And another thing, be nice to each other, okay? Drink water, eat right, say hello to your neighbors, smile more often, play your guitar more. Yeah, just play your guitar. All right, thanks for watching. See you the next time I get all choked up.